You are Locked On Celtics Postcast, part of Locked On Sports Boston, on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Well, the Celtics going to Philadelphia. It looked like it was going to be an embarrassing night. Instead, they turned things around in the third quarter, and the Celtics against the Sixers in Philly called a comeback and win 118-110. Team win for the Celtics. They got after it defensively. Tatum, 25 of his 35 in the second half. With that, we welcome you to our latest Locked On Celtics postcast. I'm Steve Lennox, longtime college hoops play-by-play announcer, former show host for satellite radio and ESPN radio. You are right where you need to be. You are locked in with our latest Locked On Celtics postcast. We're going to be talking about the Celtics win against Philadelphia, down by 26 in the third quarter. But there was a point in that third quarter where you thought, you know what, maybe, just maybe. Then in the fourth, once they got the lead, I give the Sixers credit. Depleted, yes. Maxey ran out of gas. The Sixers ran out of gas, but they didn't fold until about 90 seconds to go in regulation. We're going to be discussing an awful lot with this one. Again, you're with us on the Locked On Celtics postcast. We do want to hear from you, our everydayers and our first-timers. Join the conversation, watching live on the Locked On Sports Boston YouTube channel. Hit that comment button. Join the Celtics conversation. Subscribe to the Locked On Sports Boston YouTube channel. Also hit me up on the X, formerly known as Twitter, at Lennox on Hoops. Locked On Celtics postcast brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app. Create your account and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off on your first purchase. So the Celtics taking the floor in Philadelphia. The talk of the day, Luka Doncic. At the end of the game, apparently more trades around the NBA. The deadline Thursday afternoon, I believe 3 p.m. Eastern. The Celtics will be hosting the Mavericks without Luka Doncic on Thursday at TD Garden. But Tuesday night, they play the Cleveland Cavaliers, just in case you forgot. Sixers. Hey, you know, the Sixers, what can you say? Lost on Friday night to the Nuggets, gave up 137, scored 134. Loss ending what was a 4-game win streak for them. And prior to the win streak, they had lost 7 in a row, losing streaks of 5 in a row, and 7 straight at different occasions this year. Sixers, as we kind of recap here, up 8 after 1. Tyrese Maxey, 16 in the first quarter, and the Sixers had 10 fast break points in the first quarter alone. The Celtics weren't knocking down shots. 4 of 16 on threes. They got, and I'll talk about it for the fourth quarter here in just a moment, but they got to their numbers. 21 threes, 49 attempts. Somehow just magically they get there. Sixers knocked down 5 threes in the first quarter. Porzingis had a 3, Brown a buck in the first quarter. Celtics had 8 straight points in that first quarter in 42 seconds, and just like that, they were back in it and down 3. But they were down 8 after 1. They were down 17 at the half. 61-44 Philadelphia. Mentioned Maxey getting off to a terrific start. Maxey, 16 in the first quarter, 7 more in the second quarter, 23 for the half. Celtics, though, you know, Porzingis picked up his 3rd foul late in that second quarter. I think it was in the final minute. White missed on a 3, and then the guy that some Celtic fans want back, Yabusele, layup, 16-6 run of the final 4:06, and at that point in time, you're wondering what's going on here. When is this going to stop? When are they going to turn it around? Well, Philadelphia kept going in the third quarter. And Michael Grady said late in the second quarter, Sixers dominating in Philadelphia. He actually said Sixers dominating in Philly. Celtics in that third 13-2 run got it down to 14. At 94-80 at the start of the fourth quarter, Justin Edwards hit a 3 to make it a 19-point game. But again, Philadelphia, 26-point lead in the third quarter. The Celtics scored 36 points in the third quarter and still down by 14. And I'm thinking Maxey a couple of free throws. That gave him 27. It was 70-49. Down 21. I'm saying go to the bench. Go to the bench in this situation. Joe Mazzulla had his game plan. I don't know if you have a game plan when you're down by 26 in the third quarter. But Jaylen Brown hit a couple of threes on back-to-back possessions, got down to 18 at the 5-minute mark in the third. White missed in transition. Yabusele knocked down a three, and again, up to 21. Yabusele, then a dunk. And at that point in time, I'm thinking old school basketball, that guy's going to be put on his back. Former teammate, former Celtic, doesn't matter. Celebrated on the dunk, and I think that's where he got a tee. Hauser hit a three, and Michael Grady on ESPN said, Celtics still lurking. I'm like, I just don't feel it. I don't feel it. There was one note in the third quarter I'll bring up right here. Tatum knocked down a three late in the third. Sloppy play, then Brown with a layup. Celtics closing out that third quarter on a 13-2 run. I'm with you all the way to the end so we can do our Locked On Celtics postcast. So I wasn't going anywhere, but I was frustrated. But in that third quarter, I looked at a couple of things. 13-2 run to close. Okay, 14-point deficit. And Maxey, 32 through three quarters, played 11 minutes in the third. He wasn't alone, but he played 11 minutes in the third. And I'm saying, you know what? The stats are going to end up what the stats are going to end up being. Everyone's going to sort of get to their numbers in a roundabout way. Oubre had a three-point play early in the fourth quarter. Hauser knocked down a three. Sixers an empty trip. Tatum a three. That made it an 8-point game with 9:22 to go. Celtics at that point, and this is where I was going to make the mention, they had knocked down 16 threes, struggled from the three-point line in the first half, but 16 for 41 at that point. Still 8 shots and 8 3-point attempts below their season average. So you knew they were going to get close to that number. They got right to that number of 49. And on national broadcast, and Michael Grady did it, well, they shoot about 49 threes a game. I would like it to be in a little bit more of context, but the Celtics, bottom line, knocked down threes in the fourth quarter in the second half as well. Out of a timeout, Maxey had a tough shot, couldn't finish. Tatum in traffic, 10 straight makes for the Celtics at one point in that fourth quarter. 20-1 run, 38-8 going back to the third quarter, and a 25-8 start to the fourth quarter. Maxey made a couple of free throws, but when the Celtics, and it was one of those times where Tatum actually hit, going back just a few moments here, Tatum hit a three, and it gave the Celtics their first lead since the first quarter. At that point, you're thinking you need to finish this one off. Sixers held in. They stayed in there. Maxey, brutal attempt from the corner. Tatum got a piece. Celtics went the other way. And it was Cornette on a great feed in transition from Jaylen Brown on the dunk. Celtics up 3, timeout again. That run at that point, 36-8. They continued it. Tatum in traffic. That's where they had made 10 straight shots at that point. White, a little breathing room after Maxey hit a couple of free throws. 4-point game as he knocked down a three. White had 5 threes for the game. Brown, tough shot inside the free throw line. Philadelphia got it down to 2. Brown shot, made it a 4-point game. Oubre, a 3, made it a 1-point game. Then Porzingis, they got the ball to him. Left side of the paint, missed a shot. I believe it was Maxey on him, a smaller guy, and sometimes he struggles with that. And it was in between, bank shot or go right to the rim, and Porzingis missed it. And then White to Tatum, that was the beautiful one. White to Tatum, back to White, didn't hesitate, buried the 3, 113-109. Oubre, 1 of 2 at the line to make it a 3-point game. Tatum had a shot. Oubre, that free throw. Last points for the Sixers. +5 Celtics with 90 seconds to go. Then Holiday knocked down what was the final nail in the coffin. He knocked down a 3, 118-110 the final. Celtics down 8 after 1. 7 made threes. End up with 21 for the game. 7 made threes in the first half. 6 threes in that third quarter. Down by 26. Down by 14 at the end of 3. And then just go crazy in the fourth quarter. So the Celtics pick up the win. They've won 3 in a row now for the first time since late December, early January, when they won 1 at home to close out Toronto on December 31, and then the victories against Minnesota and Houston. 3 straight wins, and with the win, 20 games over 500 for the first time this season. Celtics now at 35-15. Let's hear from you. If you're with us on the Locked On Sports Boston YouTube channel, hit the comment button. Hey, Friday night, I appreciate you being with us. I think we had a great flow. Lights went out. Hopefully that doesn't happen again today. The bills are paid. It wasn't us. It was the neighborhood. Appreciate you sticking around with us. Just basically called it a night as they went out multiple times. I said, you know what? We'll be back at it on Sunday. So those who were with us Friday night, thank you very much. To the comments we go. Celtics pick up the win. Comeback win down 26. Matches the largest comeback win of the season in the NBA, 26 points. 3-pointers, get NBA teams back into games. Celtics did that in the second half. Joseph, wow, what a comeback. Why can't they play with that type of D all the time? I don't want to say they take nights off defensively, but where you really want it is in the playoffs, game in, game out. You really want to see it there. But they did defend. Sixers, not going to feel sorry for them. They were depleted, but they battled. The guys that they played against the Celtics Sunday night, they battled. Maxey, love them. Yabu Saley, say what you want about him, had a strong effort. And I believe we were doing a lot. You know, we had some comments. I was able to read them later after I kind of scrapped it on Friday of, you know, where are we at with trades right now? If this weekend shows you anything, I mean, there might not even be things on the table right now that teams are considering. Takes one text, one phone call, one email. And all of a sudden, you're starting to think about it. But right now, as the Lakers add Luka Doncic, as the Spurs add De'Aaron Fox, more for the future, right? And Zach LaVine apparently is on the move as well. I might try to find that. If you want to throw a comment in there, apparently Zach LaVine is out in Chicago. But right now, I think there's pressure. Cavaliers, Celtics, maybe the Knicks. Teams in the West are making moves. I mean, you trade Luka Doncic in your own conference. You've got to play him. It's not like, hey, we'll send him to the East. We'll only play him twice a year. Now, let's send him to the Lakers. All right. PK Tattoos, such a fun game. They hit that switch and shocked the Sixers. Yeah, but you know what? Part of me wants to say they should have never been in that situation. Part of me wants to say at least 3 of the starters could have been spectators in the fourth quarter. Give the Sixers credit for that. Paul George, Joel Embiid. Maybe those guys go. Who knows? But Joseph, back to that point on the defensive end, they got after it defensively. Drew Holiday, Doris Burke on ESPN, crediting him, showcasing him late in the game. I love that. And it's a collective effort. You can't have 1 or 2 guys defending. And there was a point in the first half, there was a dunk for the Sixers, and, you know, in transition, I was, you know, call tonight. Doesn't look like it's going to happen. But, yeah, PK Tattoos hit the switch, and then they went from there. Michael, nice game, love it. Jayson Tatum, got aggressive, nice win. Yeah, Tatum, first 30-plus point game. He'd gone 8 straight without a 30-point game. 35-25 in the second half. I've been calling for that. Just let one guy take over. Porzingis recently doing a nice job. They feed him a lot in the first quarter to get him going. The other night, a couple of nights ago, you know, big night for the Celtics in a win. PK Tattoos. My son looked at me during halftime and asked, what's wrong with Tatum? I said, he's going to turn it on, kiddo. And Tatum made this dad look good. Love it. Love it, PK Tattoos. Love that. And great observation from your son. Yeah, what's going on here? He could have looked at the standings and said 34-10 against a team that is scuffling, a team that's nowhere near 500, and yet they still have an opportunity for the play-in tournament. We'll see how that goes for Philadelphia. You know, Paul George, great. Get him back. Embiid, he might come back and then miss another 2 weeks. And I say that tongue-in-cheek, but that's the reality of it too. Lee, awesome comeback. Pascal, long time. Glad you're back. Celtics better win these next couple of seasons. Spurs are about to run the league with Fox and Wemby. Yeah, well, OKC, Pascal, OKC is going to have a lot to talk about that. You know, as the day kind of progressed, for some reason, I'm not a morning guy, but for some reason, the last 2 days, I've been up real early. And when I say real early for me, I was up at 5:30. Went to the phone, looked at the trade, and it was like, what are the Mavericks doing? I don't think the Mavericks, and this is not where we're talking Celtics win and a comeback win, down 26 in Philadelphia, 2-0 right now on this road trip, 1 more to go in Cleveland, and go get it against the Cavaliers on Tuesday. But I've mentioned this before if you're an everydayer with us and you've been with us, and I don't mean to bore you with this or pat myself on the back or pump out my chest, but a handful of years ago, it was during COVID, I did pre and post for the Dallas Mavericks on the radio side. Chuck Cooperstein, Brad Davis, the call. I wasn't in Dallas. The media didn't have access to the players. But in 1 year of covering the Dallas Mavericks from afar, just like everybody else, there was just something about Luka Doncic. Barkley said it. Brian Windhorst, an NBA All-Star, sent Brian Windhorst of ESPN a note. The Mavericks must really not like Luka Doncic. Charles Barkley saying the organization knows something about him. Remember, ownership transfer, Donnie Nelson out, running the front office, Rick Carlisle left town. There's been a lot of things in Dallas. By the way, KP too. That was not a good relationship. And with COVID, most professional sports teams were able to skirt and hide things and push things under the rug. You're never going to find out about those things. Porzingis is never going to give it up. But Luka Doncic, it's not surprising to me, and I do think there have been issues over the years. Look at Luka Doncic in the face. He doesn't come to camp in shape. That's as far as I'm going there. I'm not going down anymore. The real Darrell checking in. Good win, no matter how it looks. Yes, the real Darrell, you're consistent. I love it because a win is a win. There's no, when you look at the standings, what you've done against the East, what you've done against the West, what you've done against the division. There's no style points column, right? A win is a win. 35th on the year. 20 games over 500. First time this season as well. The real Darrell, Brian Windhorst looks wise based upon comments about Luka in the 2024 finals. Yeah, somebody put some video together of Luka defensively. And again, this wasn't just the NBA finals against the Celtics last June. He'll let you go by. He'll let you go to the rim. And it's been that way. It's one of those things. Might get a couple of steals in the game, but never completely committed to the defensive end and getting blown by. And I don't think he ages well. He's always had, sort of an injury bug. And some of those, I do believe, are part that he does not come into the regular season in shape. So he's a Laker. But he also, being traded, no longer has that super max available to him as well. We'll talk more about it. More of your comments. If you're with us on the Locked On Sports Boston YouTube channel, hey, I do believe the Celtics should. I don't know that they will. Can they make a move before Thursday? You want to hit us up with some ideas as to where you want to add? No Payton Pritchard. We'll touch on that as well in segment number 2. Celtics down 26 in the third quarter, win by 8 in Philadelphia against the Sixers. 2-0 on the road trip to this point with Cleveland on Tuesday in Cleveland, and the Cavaliers did thump the Anthony Davis-less, Luka Doncic-less Mavericks. They embarrassed them on Sunday. We'll discuss that as well. Glad you're with us on the Locked On Celtics postcast. Celtics again picking up the win. Now 17-6 on the season against teams with a below 500 record. As always, we do want to acknowledge our everydayers and welcome in our first-timers. Locked On Sports Boston, your team every day, presented by Game Time. Looking for tickets to your next big event, whether it's a concert, comedy show, or a sports outing, finding the right tickets at the right price, we know it can be a headache. But with Game Time Picks, it's never been easier. Let me tell you how it works. With Game Time Picks, the app actually, with the app, it does all the hard work for you. It curates the best deals so you do not have to waste your time searching through endless ticket listings. Here's what you're going to love. The curated deal makes it super simple to find great tickets at a great price. No more sifting through thousands of options. With Game Time's super deal for a prime seat, you won't even believe the value. It is going to be a great steal. The seat views, that's a game changer. Before you even hit buy, you're going to be able to see exactly what your seat will look like in the venue And certainly that is assuring or reassuring. And the best part, you're covered with Game Time's lowest price guarantee. If you find a better deal somewhere else, they're going to refund you 110% of the difference. Plus, your tickets are guaranteed to be delivered on time with easy cancellation options if something comes up on your schedule. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create your account, and use code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. Again, create your account, redeem code LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price is guaranteed with Game Time. Celtics earn the win. No Payton Pritchard for the first time this season. Michael, Luka played real good. Yeah, he's a great player, but there are headaches, and there might be more that comes out in the future. Nico Harrison says he made this deal in the front office. I'm sure he had to go finally, hey, we have everything in place with the Lakers. You've got to go talk to ownership. They signed off on it. It's not Mark Cuban anymore. I don't think, Mark Cuban has dealt with headaches over the years. I don't know that you could have convinced Mark Cuban to make that deal. Still part of the ownership group, but no longer the majority in that situation. So Michael finishing, Luka played real good. He should be the first big to come off. Luke Cornette. I'm sorry, you're saying Luke Cornette. He should be the first big off the bench. It seems like he knows what he's doing. He knows how to set screens. And you know what he did? He had that dunk in the fourth quarter. And Michael, thank you. He really does a nice job in transition. Doesn't always finish at the rim. That can be frustrating at times. But yeah, it was Jaden Springer and Al Horford, the first off the bench. Springer, Horford, and Hauser. First quarter, again, no Payton Pritchard. But for the three off the bench in that first quarter, Springer, Horford, Hauser, 0 for 6 overall, and 0 for 5 on the three-point line. That was in the first quarter for the bench. But they came along. They came along in a nice way. So just looking at it, Hauser, 4 threes for all 12 of his points. He ended up plus 18. There's sometimes I like the plus minus. There's sometimes it doesn't really, for me, tell the story. Cornette, plus 17. So Hauser, plus 18. Cornette was a plus 17. You want to look at it. Al Horford was a minus 5. Horford was just 1 of 4 overall from the field. But you ended up with 18 bench points total. Pritchard not in there. And, Pritchard, only an illness, not dealing with any type of injury right now. 5 more for the Celtics before the trade deadline. Again, 20 games over 500 for the first time this season. 3 still on the road and 2 more at home, including Dallas on Friday. Want to see if I can find this note here and give some credit for it, because Pritchard out of the lineup. Is it at the top of my first notes? Pritchard out of the lineup, had it here, and wanted to give thanks as well. So Pritchard out for the first time this season. Might have that coming up in segment number 3. But that's a big miss. Rotation changes a little bit. Springer getting time in the first quarter along the way as well. But Pritchard, it happens. Cavaliers, by the way, over the Mavericks, 144-101, never trailed, led by as many as 53 in the victory on Sunday against Dallas. So with the victory, Celtics remain 5.5 games behind the Cavaliers in the East for the number 1 spot. Celtics getting a little help from other teams around the league, and they created a little bit of breathing room with the Knicks, who had rattled off a nice win streak there. They've sort of come back to earth just a little bit. The meeting with the Cavaliers is going to be the third of the season. Each has won at home so far over the first 2. Do this on occasion. Do it right here. Get back to your comments on the Locked On Sports Boston YouTube channel in just a moment. Like the back and forth on Jayson Tatum. Again, national broadcast, Michael Grady, Doris Burke. And I didn't think they brought a lot of energy in the first half, but that's okay. But I did like Doris Burke. She did give a little bit more context. She didn't just gloss over, why is Jayson Tatum not appreciated? She went a little deep on Jayson Tatum, and I like that. That was in the first half. And love it. overall from there as well. So, again, the Celtics pick up the victory. We're going to get into numbers of the night. Box score, Tatum, 44 minutes. Brown, 41 minutes. Needed it. Porzingis, 31 minutes. Holiday, White, both 33+. And Hauser played 23+. 35 for Tatum, 25 again in the second half, knocked down 5 threes total. Derrick White also knocked down 5 threes in the victory as well. He finished with 17, and the Celtics with 5 total players in double figures. Jrue Holiday had one of those nights. You look at the line, Jrue Holiday only scored 9 points. And it looks like Holiday was a -10. But Holiday, 5 assists, 5 turnovers, a big part of shutting down Maxey, making him work. And Maxey, again, 11+ minutes in that third quarter, played almost the entire fourth quarter as well. Maxey, 40+ minutes. And Justin Edwards played 44 for the Sixers as well. But part of that, I think, for them, both teams playing on Friday, teams playing on Sunday, and I think they just sort of ran out of gas. And the Celtics, clamped on the defense as well. The real Darrell. Mavs front office losing faith in Luka. That one just moved. The Mavs front office losing faith in Luka. That is the best way to sum it up on why this trade was made. Yeah, a part of the narrative Sunday was, hey, this trade was actually, they pinpointed the player they wanted. They got Anthony Davis. So with that, they get better defensively. You got 2 players who, hey, they could miss 4 or 5 games. Luka hasn't played, since Christmas? With a calf issue. Missed all of January. I'm not saying with a calf issue, but I'm saying Luka's missed all that time with a calf issue. Okay. The real Darrell. Jayson Tatum, all-around basketball player. Yeah, and again, when Tatum and Brown lock in defensively and the other guys lock in defensively and you've got all 5 doing it at the same time, they can get around the floor as well as anybody. That might be a little bit of a stretch, maybe, just a little, maybe not. But when they defend, they get out, and you can see a pep in the step, ready to go, active and ready to go offensively from there as well. PK Tattoos. The real Darrell. Okay, responding to the real Darrell. There you go, a little back and forth. Numbers of the night coming up next. Celtics again pick up the victory, down by 26, matching the largest comeback win in the NBA this season. Numbers of the night next. Glad you're with us on the Sunday as we're wrapping up the weekend, hitting the work week off on Monday. Black History Month. Love it. Love the stories from around the NBA over the course of the history as well. Steve Lennox with you, Locked On Celtics postcast, part of the Locked On Sports Boston YouTube channel, your team every day as the Celtics pick up the victory. We are presented by Prize Picks. Basketball season heating up. No better way than to get in on the action than with Prize Picks, the best place for daily fantasy sports with over 10 million members and billions in award winnings. Prize Picks makes it easy and fun to turn your sports knowledge into real money. Here's how it works. Just pick more or less on at least 2 player projections, and if you're right, you can win up to 1,000 times your cash. Looking at the board and selecting more for Jayson Tatum on points, more for Luka Doncic when he finally debuts for his new team on assists. The best part, Prize Picks keeps it simple. You can set your lineup in less than 60 seconds, and their fast, secure withdrawals means you get paid quickly when you win. Plus, their Taco Tuesday promo gives you discounted player projections for even more value. Check out the promos tab to tail any of these super sweet Millie winners big game lineups. If you tail a lineup that goes 3 for 3, you can win a split of $1 million in promo funds. Download the app today. Use code LOCKEDONNBA for $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONNBA for $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, run your game. And again, as always, we do want to remind you, by supporting our sponsors like Prize Picks and Game Time, you're also supporting us with Locked On as well. Keep coming with the comments on the Locked On Sports Boston YouTube channel. Numbers of the night. I mentioned it, but Jayson Tatum had gone 8 straight games without a 30-point game. 35 in the victory against Philadelphia. And boy, doesn't 1-1 look a whole lot better than 0-2 against a team that's well below 500 in the 76ers right now? 1-1 against Philly this year, 2 more games remaining in that matchup. Celtics, 44 points in the first half, second fewest points in the first half this season. Remember, they had a 40-point first half and a home loss against the Warriors back on November 6th. So Tatum knocking down the threes. Tatum, 35 points. Derrick White mentioned 5 threes. White, 17 points in the win, 5 or more threes for Derrick White for the 12th time this year. 5 more games now before the All-Star break. 5 more. Take care of the Sixers, 2-0 right now on this road trip. 1 more in Cleveland on Tuesday against the Cavaliers. We're back on track. After Tuesday in Cleveland, home against the Mavericks, then right back out on the road. In New York against the Knicks next Saturday, and then in Miami a week from tomorrow on Monday, February 10th, and wrap up against the Spurs before the All-Star break on February 12th. We're going to be with you within minutes of the final buzzer of the Cavaliers' home matchup against the Celtics on Tuesday from Cleveland. And, hey, it'll be a good one, right? Make it a 3-0 road trip. Make it 3-0. It's going to be tough. And don't lay down on the Mavericks. That could be the debut in a Mavericks uniform for Anthony Davis. The real Darrell, 1 more. What change would you make on offense for the Celtics after the All-Star break? They're putting up 49 threes a game. That's not going to change. It's not. I like how they incorporate Porzingis and try to get him off to an early start in the first quarter. That's been a trend. That's been a great trend. I think it's one of the top scoring teams in the league. They're going to take their threes. They got to 49. Even struggling in the first half, they still got to that magic number of 49 three-point attempts. And they did a terrific job in the second half of knocking down threes. And it was collective. 34 assists, 20 assists, one more number of the night. The real Darrell. That's what I'd like to see. I'd like to see the Celtics share the basketball more. Less one-on-one. And Tatum does do that on occasion. And I mentioned in segment number 2, Doris Burke mentioned that, hey, sometimes he'll just pound the ball to the floor, second defender come over. He knows how to get the ball out of his hands and to somebody else. And then if he has to go get it back, one of the best plays, and Doris Burke did mention this as well, the real Darrell, you're going to get me in trouble here because I want to get out of here. They want me under 35. They really want me at 30. But we're continuing the conversation. Doris Burke mentioned it. When that second defender comes out on the perimeter, it's usually Derrick White who gets the ball. So White, kind of opposite. He was on the three-point line. Tatum was inside the three-point line, gave it right back. Tatum is unselfish, and he trusts guys. In the first quarter, he got the ball to Springer underneath in the near corner. Didn't result in points. Don't know how. I forget how the possession ended. But Tatum's going to give it up to guys for them to knock down shots, but just a little bit less dribbling. Getting that as that second defender comes over, but that number that I want to see the real Darrell, more consistent. Get closer to averaging 30 assists a game. 15, math's easy. 15, 34 assists total. 20 of those coming in the second half. PK Tattoos, 1 more. Have a great night, everyone. That's from PK Tattoos. Thanks again for the great postcast as usual. Hey, it's all about you guys. Love it. Love coming on here. You guys let me bring the energy. You guys bring the energy for me, so do appreciate it. Again, on within minutes of the final buzzer, Celtics, Cavaliers, matchup number 3, round number 3 in their regular season series. On with you with our latest Locked On Celtics postcast Tuesday night within minutes of the final buzzer. Locked On Sports Boston, your teams, your Celtics every day.